go with the automation processes means we can add for the security as a service. So most of the cybersecurity companies would go for it. But the thing is, most of some peoples will be creating on their own. But if it is a startup company and if they wanted to deliver their product all over the globe, means they would be going for the security as a service. And we have function as a service, which provide a platform for developing, running, and managing application functionality for microservices like the AWS Lambda, Google Cloud Functions, and etc. etc. So if you are constantly developing a particular application and you are going to give the updated version and the security patches continuously needs, you can go for this functionality. And most of the services or most of the companies will be opting multiples of things according to their product and their services. They will be going for each and every services here. Okay. And here is a pretty much good description of how the responsibility is being shared according to the owner and as well as the provider. Okay, so if you are using it on premises, means these things you have to taken care of from the networking, like the wires and things, from the application, like the browser, whichever they are using to view this task, means up to this, you have to taken care on your own. So what are the hardware things, or renting the location and the electricity, the security things, and everything you have to take in care on your own. The maintenance will also comes under here. But if you are going to the cloud computing, so if you are going for the infrastructure as a service, these things, the blue things, will be taken care by your service provider itself. So you have to just install the OS over there, and you have to install whatever the middleware you wanted to use over there, and then you will be creating the data and uploading the data and editing, modifying it, and then you will be using your application over here. So this is the only part you will be working on it. And if you're going as a platform as a service, you will be only looking into application and the data. There won't be any extra things you have to look for. Each and everything will be taken care of the service provider itself. You need to care about the OS and their licenses and the middleware and the runtime, whether you need Python, etc., etc. It will be already pre-installed and maintained. And which if the particular runtime or the middleware needs an update, a security update, the service provider will taking care of that. It will be up to date and everything. So it is like a pre-packaged thing. So you just need to manage the applications and data in your service. And if you're going for the software as a service, you don't need to care about anything. Everything will be taking care of the service provider itself. So that is why most of the organization, not most, 99.9% of organizations would be go for cloud, because it is cheap, it is flexible, and yeah, why to if you're just the product is only a minimum requirements, why do you need to go for the on-premises? You just go for a software as a service itself. If you are providing a software and it is required these things, means you don't need to create this. You can just rent it out. That's it. It will be very cheaper. You don't need to what do you say? Create a space for it and etc. etc. And cloud deployment models. Actually, these are how we can able to deploy according to our will. So this is going to be the first type, that is the private cloud. The cloud infrastructure is operated for a single organization only, so only for a particular company. So whomever is outside the organization, they won't be getting any access to the cloud environment. It will be only for the whomever is under the organization. It is fully private. Okay, no outsider can able to access these resources. And we are having the community cloud. So whomever is under the community, whomever is adding into the community, they can able to access these premises or access these resources. So only the shared infrastructure between a several organization from a specific community with a common concern, a security, compliance, or jurisdiction. According to their community, they can able to have the access over here. And we'll be having the hybrid cloud here, where the combination of two models, the private and the community or the public, will be coming under here. So that remains unique entity, but are bounded together. So thereby offering the benefits of multiple deployment models. So here we will be having the public cloud and as well as your private cloud. So according to the organization needs. So you'll be needing the management to be in a private cloud, and your product deployment should be in a public cloud, right? So on the time you can able to go for both the things. And you can also maintain these things and the AWS itself, like in the cloud environment itself, or the service provider would be taking care of this. Like if you're going for the like public cloud, and if you're only like going for the software over there, you can opt for the software as a service over there. And as well as if you are like managing the things on your own by creating your own custom application means, you can go for the infrastructure as a service, like two services or two types of services as you need. And we will be also having multi-cloud, where will be like a dynamical environment will be there, and that combines workloads across multiple cloud vendors. So here, as usual, so each you can opt for each and every services for a particular cloud providers as well. So if you can able to go for the public cloud to the Azure, or if you're giving the public cloud to the Amazon, you can also give it. But the thing is, you can able to combine these cloud resources are to a one thing. You can able to share the resources among these cloud services. So for a single company, it can be they can able to add for these many what do you say cloud environment as well. So that is what we have, what we call like cloud, sorry, multi-cloud deployment model. And we have Nest Cloud deployment reference architecture here. So this is the reference of the Nest Cloud here. So here there will be like the cloud consumer side and the cloud provider side, and cloud carriers and cloud auditor and the cloud broker. So this is like divided into these parts here, as you can see. So this is an like a Nest product, like as I said, this is a framework you can able to add for this. So if you doesn't like the organization doesn't want to like do a R&D for the how to deploy the cloud means, they can go for the Nest as well. So they can easily like understand, and they can easily go for any one of the things, or they can able to go for the whole thing as well. Let's go further. Cloud storage architecture. So the cloud only for the storing purposes, or only for the data purposes. So the cloud storage is a data storage medium used to store the digital data and logic pools using networks. And the cloud storage architecture consists of three main layers, namely front end, middleware, and the back end. And the front end layer is accessed by the end user, where it provides the APIs for the management of data storages. And the middleware layer performs the several functions such as the data and deduplications and the replication of the data. And the backend layer is where the hardware is implemented over there. You can see this is the front end, where the APIs is accessed by any of the products which we created. And these are all the middleware, where the processing is done, and creating and modifying the data will be done here. And in the backend, the physical things or the hardware will be located over here in this part. Let's go further. And these are all these cloud providers we are having: the AWS, Azure, and the Google Cloud Services, and IBM. These are all like naming few here. There will be multiple cloud providers is also there, but the thing is, go for AWS actually. Like if you want to like going into like coming into the cloud field means, go with the AWS itself, because 80% of the globe here is using AWS, and the rest of the others is using these other three things. So yeah, if you are like having actually if you are coming to like cloud field, you just go for AWS basic certification. Even if you're like starting as a cybersecurity professional, go for any basic AWS certification which is needed, because most of the industries now is opted for cloud. They're not going for like the on-premises or anything. They fully like gone with their cloud services. So like learning from the cloud or going with the cloud in an AI embedded like learning means, it will be very good. Actually, it is recommended by like, it is just like a point of view of me. Okay. And yeah, so let's go with the understanding of container technology. Yeah, what is a container? Container is a package of an application or a software, including all its dependencies such as library files, configuration files, binaries, and other resources that run independently of other processes in a cloud environment. The thing is, let's say, if you like wanted to run a Python program in your machine means, what you need it. The Python code is anything. It might be like any like a basic functionality. You just create it for your own users means. Like let's say the Python script you created is to run for like just to the functionality is to like for your own like personal purposes, like taking notes of what are the things you are creating in your like desk, and it will like just think about like a personal assistant kind of thing, which is you written in a Python script. And if you want to like deploy it, and if you want to run it, means you need a laptop. You have to install a OS in it, and then you have to like install the Python, and then you have to install the dependencies in your laptop, and then the other files, the things, and then your source code has to be implemented over there. It has to be installed and deployed over the laptop, and then the other things which it also need require the internet to access the resources, other resources, which is the script is required. So these are the things which you have to create it, right? But if you are going for the cloud also, the other resources, it doesn't matter. So if you are like installing a OS, means the other like extra features like the let's take the task manager, the file manager, etc., etc. Those features is doesn't matter. We doesn't need going to use for the particular Python script, right? So only whatever the required things to run a particular script or particular product or particular software, that is only going to be there in the container. There won't be any extra things will be installed or things going to run in the container. So that is why it is very efficient in the things, and as well as it will be reducing your cost. So you won't be like paying for the extra features which you doesn't going to use in the first place. And CAS is a service that includes the virtualization of containers and the container management through orchestrator. And yes, so you'll be just like managing those softwares only, and etc. So you don't need to like work on any extra things. So you'll be just installing your software over there, and you will be installing the other dependencies which is required, and that's it. You're good to go, and your deployment will be successful. And yeah, so what is the difference between the container versus virtual machines? So virtualization is the ability to run multiple operating systems on a single physical system, which is like example of the VirtualBox or VMware, right? So we are like creating another OS virtually, or multiple OSs which we are opening in a like a host system in a physical system, right? So that is what we call virtualization. But in containers are placed on the top of one physical server and one host operating system, not in a multiple operating system, and shares the operating system's kernel binaries and libraries, thereby reducing the need for reproducing the OS. So we don't need to create a multiple OS to run a multiples of softwares. We just need to create only one OS. That's enough. So it can able to share among the other processes, which is going to run on the actual thing. So actually, let's compare this height as your resources. Okay. So here in the virtual machine, the resources is used up to 100%. But in containers, it is only used up to 80%. So you'll be having the rest of 80%, sorry, the rest of 20% in a free use. So your deployment will be has like extra storage to go for any like additional processes, and it will be very fast to processing any like data over there. But in virtual machines, your 100% is used. Your 100% of the Aptite cloud is used now, and you will be having the guest OSs for each and every applications which you are deploying over the cloud. But in here in the container, you doesn't need those things. You don't need the guest OSs in the first place. It will be taken care of the container engine itself. And for to run the OSs, you need the hyper OSs in the first place. So it might be the Windows hypervisor, it might be VirtualBox, anything, any etc., which will be delivered by your cloud provider. But the thing is, you don't need these tools. You just need the container engine that will can run the multiples of application which you're going to host it in the environment. So it is according to the requirement. You can go for virtual machine, you can go for containers according to your need. The thing is, actually to be like give an example, our the Pond Hills the challenges are hosted in the containers. Okay, these are like every individual container, and the other thing is everything is isolated. Okay, so the thing is you can't able to access the other resources or other challenges from a particular challenge. So the isolation gives the security stronger. So if any one of the containers weak in any of vulnerabilities, it doesn't matter because other containers is very safe, right? Yeah, let's go further. What is a Docker? Docker is an open source technology used for developing, packaging, and running applications and all its dependencies in the form of containers to ensure that the application works in a seamless environment. It is the advancement of the what do you say, the containers in the first place. So the container has some like a basics of what do you say, like it is a flexible like an image kind of thing where you can able to like create any custom files, and then you can able to use those resources of the containers. And here in the Docker, it is like a custom made for a custom application. It is like a what do you say, like pre-crafted for a particular application. It is only the, but if you're creating a Docker for a particular purpose, it cannot be used for any other services or any other manner. It is only, you can able to only use it for a particular uh, like services. Like the Docker provides a platform as a service through OS level virtualization and delivers containerized software package. Like the virtualization and as well as the containerization is combined together. So you'll be having a like a dedicated OS, but that OS is only for your custom application. It can be, the OS cannot be used for any other purposes, etc. Like the Windows itself, you can able to go for, you can able to do any other things in the Windows, right? And in Kali also, you can able to do whatever the things you need in, sorry, not in Kali, like in any Linux distro. But in here, you will be having a particularly crafted OS only to run your particular software. Okay. And you will be having a Docker engine instead of an OS. I'm just saying that the OS as an example, but instead of a OS or the hypervisors, you will be having the Docker engine. Okay. And we have the microservices versus Dockers. So monolithic applications are broken down into cloud-hosted sub-applications called microservices that work together, each performing a unique task. So as each microservices is packaged into a Docker container along with their required libraries, frameworks, and configuration files, a microservices belonging to a single application can be developed and managed using a multiple platforms. Here, in this example or in this what do you say, image, you can able to easily see the difference of it. So this is the monolithic application or the previous the prior to the microservices application. So you're having the two application, and it is logic, and the source code is running over here, and the data access layer is also here, and the data is stored over here. So this is the basic orchestration or architecture of a monolithic application. And when you're coming into the microservices application, you will be using a single interface, and you will be having the microservices running in an each different containers or each different Dockers. It can be anything. It can be particular thing. And the thing is, you can able to access for any other purposes. If you're having another interface which you want to use it, you can able to use this microservices. It is like each dedicated microservices running in a Docker container. Sorry, Docker repositories. Let's go further. Docker networking. So Docker connects multiple containers and services or other non-Docker workloads together. And the Docker networking architecture is developed on set of interface known as Container Network Model or CNM. The CNM provides application portability across heterogeneous infrastructure. Heterogeneous infrastructure in the sense it can be deployed in any of the infrastructure you want. It can be any kind of services which you want to upload over there or which you want to deploy over there. And container orchestration is nothing but automation of the containers itself. So an automated process of managing the life cycle of a software containers and their dynamic environment. The dynamic environment in the sense it is going to be changing according to the services which it is going to offer, and it is used for scheduling and distributing the work of individual containers for microservices based application spread across the multiple clusters. So here we have the container orchestration softwares. It can go with the Docker Swarm or Kubernetes. It is like according to the will, and it will be goes to the automated task. So which is the task you are going to do? So it is going to scale. It is going to like select any one of the tasks according to the requirement, and it is going to give it the services to the microservices. So whichever has the higher priority, that will be having the higher number of microservices in the container, and the others will be having the minimum number of the containers. So let's say like whenever the workload is higher for deploying like a HTTP protocol, so on the time that protocol or that particular task will be assigned a multiples of containers to boost up the power of boost up the accessibility of the particular task. So it is like a flexible thing. So it is going to be like you will be having like a minimum resources and it will be running according to the things. It is kind of like an advancement on like efficient manner of using a container. So that is what we call it as orchestration of containers. Okay. And we are now seeing these like container security challenges. So we are having these kind of like security challenges in here, and we'll be seeing how to resolve these. So we are having the container management platform like the Dockers. The thing is, these things will be offered by the cloud provider itself. So if you're going with the Docker thing, you will be having the Docker platform here, the container platform here, looking like this. And if you are using the Amazon, or sorry, the AWS, you will be having the Amazon Elastic Container Services, that is ECS, which will be added or coming into the your AWS subscription itself. And if you are using Azure, you will be having the container instead of Microsoft Azure or ACI. According to your the provider, you will be having their management platform also, where you can able to manage the critical challenges which we come across while we are deploying the cloud infrastructure. Can easily manage from a single entity. And now we are going to discuss about the cloud computing threats. The war start on cloud security risks. So what are the risks we are having here? So accountability and the data ownership, the usability federation, and regulatory compliance, as usual, I'm going along with their government rules and business continuity and resilience and user privacy and secondary usage of data. Here to be note that like currently in India, so we don't have any like privacy act like for like individual information privacy act is gone. So GDPR is only for European Union, not for like India here. So like that is why like it is mentioned over here. Yeah, but if in the future, if it has comes for these the Information Security Act for India means you don't need to like give your phone number for anybody. You can able to question whomever has your phone number also. Not only that, your each and every information will be like comes under the law, so he can able to easily sue like any person. And the thing is like the scamming will be decreased on this kind of factors deployed in India. Like the scamming will be decreased, and the data like whomever is like most of the like Google and other services is like getting our data like what are the things we like and etc, and they are using it for their algorithm, right? So was what we like. So for those things will be like comes under the act, and nobody can able to steal our data without our like acknowledgement or anything. Yeah. So yeah, so currently the European government is looking into it. And if you're looking into like European-based company, you have to look for this as well, and you have to create like kind of the security softwares to come across these kind of acts. And we have the risk of servers and data integrations, and multi-tenancy and physical security, and incident analysis and forensic support, and infrastructure securities, and non-productive environment exposures. Continue. And yeah, so these are all the cloud computing threats we are having currently. The data breach losses and unknown risk profiles, malicious insiders, like isolation failure, natural disasters, like can be any natural calamities might be affecting the cloud environment, and cloud provider acquisitions. And the other thing is the lockage of the things. So if you are like can't able to give like the thing is like they can able to lock out of our own data itself. So you can't able to pay them. Means an insufficient due diligence and insecure interface and APIs, and etc. And followed the continued here, the threats are continued here. VM level attacks, lock-in. This is what I'm talking about. They can easily lock in, and licensing risk is also there, and compliance risk is there, and the loss of encryption keys will be there. So we might be creating our own custom encryption, but the thing is the key should be there in the cloud environment. So the loss of key will also be there, and loss of modification of backup data will be there. We can't able to easily backup the things over there. And economic denial of subsidence, sustainability, and lack of security architecture, and hijacking accounts. If they hijacked our account using any like spear phishing or phishing, that's game over. So we can't able to go with our cloud environment itself. They can able to use it on their own. It will be like huge loss to the company. And the cloud attacks, we are having the man in the cloud attack. It is just kind of like man in the middle attack in a network, but it is in the cloud itself. So in the man in the cloud attack, attackers are an advanced version of man in the middle attack. As I said, the attacker tricks the victims into installing a malicious code, which plants the attacker synchronization token on the victim's drive or on their drive, and then the attacker steals the victim's synchronization token and uses the stolen token to gain access to the victim's file. It's just stealing the token kind of thing. And later, the attacker restores the malicious token with the original synchronization or synchronized token of the victim, thus returning the drive application to its original state and state undetected. So the victim doesn't even know that he's been affected or not. The thing is, using a malicious code, he can able to steal their token and then resync it with their original code itself. And we are having the cloud hopper attack. The cloud hopper attack are triggered at the managed service provider or MSPs or the whomever is the provider of our cloud environment and their users. And attackers initiate a spear phishing emails with the custom made malware to compromise the accounts of staff or cloud services firms to obtain the confidential information. So here the attacker is sending the phishing things or links to the provider here, and using the provider is affected means whom, like if the AWS is affected means they can able to go with the MSP users, like whomever is affected for this. And here this is going to be the victim here as the image here, but the thing is you can able to, the attacker can able to take over any other users of the provider here. Okay. And the cloud attack of cloud cryptojacking. Cryptojacking is unauthorized uses of victims' computer to stealthily mine digital currency. So here it is kind of the bot network here, but the thing is they will be mining the cryptocurrencies using the cloud resources which we are having. The cryptojacking attacks are highly lucrative, which involves both external attackers and the rogue insiders as well. To perform this attack, the attackers leverage the attack vector like cloud misconfiguration and compromised website and client or server-side vulnerabilities to perform these kind of cryptojacking. The thing is, to be short here, so they will be using the resources to mine their own cryptocurrency. So they will be running their own processes. They will be stealing your resources in the first place. And you will be paying for the resources that the attacker is using. So you won't be even knowing that it is affected by it or you are affected by this attack. And we have cloud-borne attack. Cloud-borne attack is a vulnerability residing in a bare metal cloud server that enables the attackers to implement a malicious backdoor in its firmware. And the malicious backdoor can allow the attacker to bypass the security mechanisms and perform various activities such as watching new users' activities or behavior and disabling the application or service and intercepting or stealing the data. Okay. And followed by these tools which we will be using to enumerate the S3 buckets. So S3 bucket is nothing but the Amazon services. It is one of the services over there where you can able to have the storage things over there, and you can be able to call whenever you're required. So we can able to steal the data out of the S3 packets if it is open or if it is publicly accessible. So we can able to enumerate using this Lazy3 tool. You can able to have the data of the S3 packets, and we can able to use the Nimbrotos and S3 scanners. I personally use S3 scanners and Dumpster.io. And these are the tools where you can able to use it for fingerprinting and exploiting the Amazon cloud infrastructure. And it is allows the attackers to enumerate access the AWS services. And current IAM rules. So cloud attack countermeasures. They enforce the data protection and backup the retentions mechanisms and prohibit the users credential sharing among users and application and the services. So these are all the countermeasures where we can able to take. Not only that, the vendor should regulator there they undergo. So the regulatory guidance should be opted by the vendors and enforce the SLA for patching the vulnerabilities and remediations and implementing the strong key generation, storage, and management on the destruction parties. Or by creating the private keys for each and every repositories which you are owning, and ensuring that the cloud undergoes a regular security check and updates, ensuring the physical security is 24/7 or 365 days FS, and etc. etc. Okay. And cloud attack countermeasures continued here. Actually, these are all the countermeasures where we can able to take for an according to a particular attack which we seen here or which we seen previously. For the cloud hopper attack, ensure the mutual coordination between customers and CPs or the providers in case of abnormal incident or activities. So we have to make sure that if like, constantly look for any inactive like what do we say abnormal activities. If there is any, we have to confirm it by the customers and the providers as well. And once it is done, once it is reset to the back, and there won't be any like attacks will be continuing using the same attack, ensuring the strong passwords as usual, and using the coin blocker URL for in order to like wait from the crypto jacking, and using the firewall like etc. And for the cloud mode, the CSPs or providers should keep their firmware up to date and sanitize the server firmware before it is assigned to a new customer. Sanitization to assigning like to giving to the new customer is nothing but, so even though if you are canceling the subscription of a cloud services means they won't be like deleting or like throwing out their hard disk and etc. the server racks and etc. The thing is they're going to be reusing it for to the another customer, right? For those purposes, the hard disk and the every data should be like cleared, sanitized perfectly. If it is not means if there is data cannot like they didn't deleted means it can be like lead to the attack for the previous company. So the key might be over there, any like sensitive information might be left out when they are resources, and this can lead to a damage to the previous user of the cloud provider. So yeah, that is a no-go. So these are all the security tools where we can able to go for the management of the security services in the cloud. And that's this, guys, and we have completed. Okay, guys, let's move to the other thing. Okay, let's just give me a second. I just open the other one. I hope the screen is visible for you guys. Okay. So this is going to be the last module. Okay, we have some questions here. So yeah, you guys will get the certificate from the website, but you have to like complete your certifications first. You have to like upload the certification in the website, and then you can able to the assignments in the website, and then you can able to download the certificate from the website, and you can able to access the recordings, but there is no like limited time or something. It is accessible for unlimited time. I think, is there any limited time to view the? I think you are saying that can we shorten short the recordings or recording videos. You are saying that, right? I think we can't able to do that. It is the shortest version possible, which is already uploaded in the website. So we can't able to reduce the time beyond that. Okay. And we have any other questions? The certificate can, yeah, the certificate will be not in the end of the session. We have to complete the assignments, and once you submitted it, and once the trainers approve the assignment which you have uploaded, and then you can able to download your e-certifications. Okay, so let's continue here. So this is going to be our objectives: understanding penetration testing and its benefits, understanding types of penetration testing, and the phases of penetration testing, and followed by the guidelines and recommendation of penetration testing and at risk associated with the penetration testing. Okay. So we have divided into three parts as of now. So understanding the fundamentals of penetration testing. Here we go. The penetration testing is a type of security testing that evaluates an organization's ability to protect its infrastructure, such as network, application systems, and users against external as well as internal threats. And yeah, And it is an effective way of determining the efficiency of an organization, security policy, controls, and technologies. Yes, it is true. Like we can't able to like go and check each and every policies one by one or line by line. And it is what are the technology it has been like said. The auditors also will take some time, and it is not an efficient task to do. It requires like money and as well as time to spend on it, so it won't be possible. But if they are going for a penetration testing, it will reduce those things. And it involves an active evaluation of security of the organization and infrastructure by simulating an attack, similar to those who are performed by a real attackers. Here is the hackers. So we'll be like simulating the attacks as an hacker itself in this penetration testing. So what are the benefits we'll be having from conducting a penetration testing? So it will reveal the vulnerabilities, shows real risk, ensure business continuity, and reducing the client end attacks and establishing a status of the companies in terms of securities, like creating a goodwill and got the reputation of the company, right? And these are all the the gains which we can able to get from the penetration testing. And yeah, comparing security audit, vulnerability assessment, and penetration testing. So yeah, so why we have the vulnerability assessment? So why we need a penetration testing? And also we have a security audit. So if we done any one or any both of the things by this, why we need a penetration testing? The thing is it has some difference. Each and everything is a unique way that it will what do we say, process the things. Okay, so once you will get something out of this, the security audit. So let me give you the example here. Yeah, security audit checks whether an organization follows a set of standards and security policies and procedures. That's it. So it is not going to check whether the policy is secured or not. It is only checking whether the standards are met. That's it. Whether the given rules and regulation has been applied to the company or not. That is only thing the security audit looks for. And vulnerability assessment focuses on discovering the vulnerabilities in an information system, but provides no indication of whether the vulnerabilities can be exploited or of the amount of damage that may result from a successful exploitation of the vulnerabilities. So it is only going to discover the vulnerabilities and its information. That's it. Like it says whether the particular system has a vulnerability, a particular network has a vulnerability or not. That's it. So we doesn't know whether it is exploitable or not, whether it is likely to a big attack or not. We doesn't know it only by the vulnerability assessment. But in penetration testing, we'll get the both of the benefits as well. So the thing is, we won't be like fully audit the each and every security policies. And the thing is, we'll be doing a full vulnerability assessment plus we would be exploiting those vulnerabilities to create a damage or to make it successful or not, whether we like demonstrate whether it is successful or not, and we'll be giving a report. So by this we can able to easily check whether the security policy is implemented, secured well enough, and as well as the found vulnerabilities is exploitable or not. So this approach will be very actually it is a successful one, and it will be eliminate those times and resources and etc. That is why people will go for penetration testing. And in certain times, it is needed. The vulnerability assessment or security audits will needed. And types of penetration testing or penetration assessment, goal-oriented versus compliance-oriented versus red teaming-oriented. Yes, we have these types of assessments in the penetration testing. And it is like coming further. So the explanations are, and yeah, here it is. Okay, let me check. Yeah. They have complaints oriented as there, goal oriented as not here, but okay. So the type of assessment is given or driven by goals. This objective or the objective of penetration testing are defined rather than defining the scope of target. The goal of penetration testing, penetration assessment is defined before it begins. So here the goal is already set. So what are the things we have to do? It is already been set by the provider itself or by the customer or client itself. So what to do, what not to do will be already being made. Okay. So the attacks or the goals might be giving a remote access to an internal network or gaining an access to a credit card information or details or sensitive information or create a denial of access service conditions against a website. So these can be goal-oriented examples or goal-oriented types of penetration assessment. And now we are in complaints oriented penetration testing, and this type of assessment is driven by compliance requirement. It is a testing against adherence to compliance requirement. So there might be a lawsuit or something, or it might be anything. So it is a compliance requirements. So if a compliance is not up to date or like not adherence, so the as a penetration tester would be checking those things and would be making sure everything is under compliance. So the goal here would be the compliance itself, making the organization completes or like fulfills the requirements of the cybersecurity standards or frameworks or laws and etc. Okay. And the final thing is red team based penetration testing. Here we will be like fully focused as a hacker itself. We'll be like acting as a full hacker itself. So red team based penetration testing is an advisory goal based assessment in which the penetration tester must mimic the behavior of a real attacker and the target the environment. So this type of assessment has no specific driver. For example, an organization may ask to conduct a security assessment for evaluating its overall security. And it may include assessing people, networks, application, physical security, etc. So we'd be like fully becoming an hacker itself in this point or in this based of penetration testing. Okay. And now we are into the second module or second module flow, discussing the strategies and phases of penetration testing. So we guys might be already know these classifications like the black box, white box, gray box. So to be very short here, the black box is nothing but you won't be having any like information on it. The boxes here specifies the target machine or system or a network. Okay, so in black box, you won't be having any information about the target. And in white box, you will be having full required information about the client itself. And in gray box, you will be having some information and some information won't be available for you. Okay, this is the classification of boxes. Penetration testing strategies as broadly classified as follows. Okay. According to your client information, we can able to differentiate between whether it is a black box, white box, or a gray box approach. Okay. And it is just an approach concept. Okay. And penetration testing process, defining the scope, performing the penetration testing, actual penetration testing happens here, and reporting and delivering the results. So these are all the main three processes which we have to go through. So defining the scope or like extend the extension of testing, what will be tested, where testing will be performed, from and who will perform the testing. So we will be answering these questions in this process or in this defining of the scope, and followed by we'll be involved with the gathering the informations of the security vulnerability and involving testing to the targeted environment such as network configurations, topology, hardware, software, etc., the web applications, and yeah, those on cloud infrastructure, etc. So here we will be performing the actual test or actual penetration or actual like hacking attack itself here. And the final thing would be the reporting and delivering results. So we would be like listing the each and every vulnerability which we found, and we would be categorizing those vulnerabilities which we found, and we would be recommending the repairs or mitigations for the founded vulnerability when they are target or in their infrastructure. Okay, once it is done, it may be closed down, but in some cases, the client might be asking you to like guide them to eliminate those vulnerabilities or to implement those mitigations or tips. Okay, it might happen. Let's follow through here. The phases of penetration testing. So we have pre-attack phase where we'll be gathering the information about the target, and attack phase. So what are the things we got from the information gathering? We'll be testing and exploiting those like the vulnerabilities which we found in the information gathering. And post-attack phase would be the documentation and reporting. So this is comes under the actual testing itself. So that is divided into these three. Okay. The documentation and reporting is nothing but so how you found the vulnerability, what are the tools you have been used, what are the payloads you have been used. You have to mention it or documented those things in those reports. Okay. And penetration testing methodologies. So we have different kind of like methodologies and frameworks existing in this world or in this field. So help this the frameworks and methodologies help organization choose the best method to conduct a successful penetration test. So we have like open source methodology right here, and we have priority methodologies like the paid methodologies here. So we have like Easy Counsels, LPT, IBM's, McAfee, found stones or there, and we have the OWASP, CREST or NIST or the like very well used by the organizations. Actually, we mostly use the open source one. Okay, so it doesn't record. Both are similar. Okay, according to the government, they might be like ask us to use a proprietary methodologies. So in those cases, we have to use this. But other than that, we don't need to like use those methodologies, the paid one. We can go for the open source methodologies itself. Okay, so now we are into the module for the third module, the final module flow. So here, characterizing the good penetration testing or penetration test. So establishing a parameters of penetration tests such as objectives, limitations, and justification of procedures, and hiring skilled and experienced professional to perform the test. And yeah, that is very much required. So if a penetration tester doesn't know to do a DDoS attack, so he are not as fit for those particular target, right? So if the client is asking for a DDoS, we only need to like implement a skilled DDoS professional for that particular testing, right? And choosing a suitable set of tests that balances cost and benefit. This is must one. So according to the budget, we have to choose our tools and methodologies and even the time to which we putting it in there. Okay, and following the methodologies with proper planning and documenting the result carefully and making it comprehensible for the client. These are all the good practices which we do, which we should do as well. And when should penetration testing be performed? So the chances where we can able to implement these tests or changes have been made in the organization's infrastructure. Can be any changes, uh, but whatever the changes, they have to do a penetration testing. Okay, and but most especially when they are acquiring a new company into their organization, like the company might be buying a new company or another company. So in those cases, we have like they might like connect their resources over the other one. So on those cases, we need a penetration testing. Okay, and a new threat or to the organization infrastructure has been discovered. If they found any like any like or like infrastructure threat, it has to be done. The testing has to be done, and hardware or software has been updated or reinstalled. On those times also, we need a perform. Actually, it is not to a single or a minute software, like it should be a big one. So if they're changing their server itself, or if they're changing the server software or maintenance software, SIMS one. So in those times, we need a penetration testing. And the organization policy has changed. So whenever they are changing the policy, it has to be, what do you say? The policies might be the password policy, to be exactly like to examples. So if they change the password policy on those times, most people would be doing the repeating their passwords and things, or doing a like a easily guessable password. So those things should not be done. So in those times, we need a penetration test, right? And ethics of penetration testing, or the ethics. So what are the things we should do without, it is not written law or rule in the field, but it is an ethics. So it is a good practice we should follow as a penetration tester or into the cybersecurity field or cybersecurity profession. So perform penetration testing with the express written permissions of the client. So we need a permission from the client, whatever the attack is, even if it is a small one or a big one, and work according to the non-disclosure or liability clause of contract. We should not go beyond this document which we signed on. Okay, if there is a non-disclosure thing, you should not talk about those things out of the constraints. Okay, and test tools is an isolated laboratory prior to an actual penetration test. Actually, not only this. So we would be we actually test those tools in a like a constraint manner or in an like isolated like environment. And the in an actual penetration testing, we won't be like I try to attack like actual product or actual deployment product itself. So what the client would do is, or what we like recommend the client would do is, so we ask like a different server or like a copycat or ditto copy of a code or a product in a like isolated server, so where we will do the attack. So even if we crash the product or if we damage the product, it won't affect the deployment of the product itself. So that is why. And yeah, and inform the client about any possibility risk that might enumerate from a test. Yes, if they are facing, if they are like asking for a DDoS attack, there is a possibility that the server might crash. like a permanently or for a weeks or a days. So those risk has to be like what you say informed to the client prior to the attack and notify the client at the first discovery of high level vulnerabilities, and that should be must thing. So if you found any like high vulnerability or high level of vulnerability, it can be possible that anybody can able to exploit it. So how like we should give a much high priority to the higher level privilege or higher level vulnerability, and delivering the social engineering test result only in a summarized and statistical format. Yes, and yeah, so try to maintain a degree of separation between the criminal hackers and the security profession as usual. So we signed a non-closure or NDF agreement. So we should not go beyond it. We are not a criminal hacker. We are a professional. So we are not supposed to do harm to our clients or anybody else. And it, okay. And I think yeah, we are almost done. Evolving as a penetration tester. So technology to evolve, the technologies evolve and change. So we also have to be update in this field. Okay. And look outside the workplace to expand the knowledge, and that is true. So that is why we are having the DEF cons and hackathons and etc. And the conferences we go for these yeah, the third point itself, attend conferences, workshop, and training to gain or expand our knowledge and then to create a network in our same field and join various security groups and discuss current securities related topics like forums and Reddit forums, etc. We have to like join over there. We have to share our knowledge and as well as we can able to gain the knowledge as well from there. And keep your career alive by constantly updating your area of knowledge and set skills. And that is true. And read books, journals, and trade magazines, etc., etc., etc. We have to read constantly in this field. Okay, and visit various security websites and forums to learn from them, and visit libraries and bookstores to get information. Actually, these are like repeating kind of thing in a different words, but the thing is same. We have to constantly learn in this field. We have to like constantly update our skills over here. Okay. And qualification, experience, certification, and skill required for a penetration testers or a quality penetration tester depends on a tester's qualification. Like penetration testing skills can be obtained within years of experience in IT fields such as development, system administrator, or consultancy, or you're on your own itself, like going to a courses, learning by your own, etc., etc. And the thing is, you need a certification and at least a degree. So the tester should possess security certifications such as CH, CPET, and CIS, and CISA, we have EJPT, and etc. So these are all the entry-level certification which we can go for. And we have OSCP and OSWP, etc., etc. Those are all like intermediate and high-level certification which we can go for. But any entry-level certification will give you a job, even though if you're having a limited, like very like less known certification, like a beginner's certification, you can able to get laid in a job, but you need a skills. You need to do the work for it. Okay. Yeah, communication skills to be a penetration tester. This must. A penetration tester should have a strong interpersonal and communication skill to your team and to the client. And the thing is, you should know the language or communication skill well enough to like demonstrate or to explain the vulnerability to a uneducated man. Like the client won't know or they know doesn't know the every technical term which we use in our feed. So for those persons, we have to like make it in a like a understandable manner, and then we have to deliver our concerns to him. So that is why we need a communication skill properly, and they must have a proven ability to explain the output of a penetration test to a non-technical client. So this is what I'm explaining now, right? And they must have a good penetration testing and report writing skill, and that is also must. And yeah, profile of a good penetration tester should have a conducted research and development in security field and published research papers if you have if applicable, and presentation presented at various local and international seminars if you have, and hold various certification, it is must thing, and members of a reputed organizations such as IEE and etc. If it is applicable, and written and published security related books and etc. like your blogs and your personal projects and hobby projects, etc. You should mention it over here, and your like hack the box result, track me results, and etc. should be like mentioned here, like hacker one, etc. And yeah, if you are a programmer, you should be going with the hacker one, right? So those kind of things, it has to be mentioned over here. And the tester needs to market themselves through these activities if they want an organization to consider them as a penetration tester. And that is true. And you can use LinkedIn kind of profiles to like market yourself in the field, to like advertise yourself, right? And responsibility of a penetration testers, which we already gone through this, right? And risk associated with the penetration testing. So some of the risk arising from a penetration testing as follows is the tester can gain access to the protected or sensitive data after the successful penetration test attempt. So the thing is, if we damage this, that is a risk. And testers can obtain information about the vulnerabilities existing in the organization infrastructure. And DOS penetration test can take down the organization services itself, which I already talked about. And using the certain pretext in a social engineering penetration test attempt can make employees feel uneasy. So we'd be like in a like a social engineering attacks, we'd be like giving an unappropriate emails or like legitimate one which will unset or like set an uneasy feelings to employees or whomever is working in the victims or clients organization. So these are all some risks which it is associated with our penetration testing process. Okay. And yeah, we have like technical risk, organizational risk, and legal risk. The type of risk in technicals are failure of the target and distribution or disruption of the services which the client has, loss or exposure of sensitive data can happen. And organizational risk, repetitive and unwanted triggering into the indicating handling process, sorry, incident handling process, and negligence towards monitoring and responsibility, sorry, responding indications or incidents, and disruption in business continuity and loss of reputations or loss of goodwill can happen in a organizational types of risk. And legal risk can be violation of the laws or clause in the rule of engagement document which we signed earlier, or the NDA form, etc., etc. These can able to lead to a legal obligations may arise. It is also a risk. Okay, and these we already seen it. And yeah, so that's it, guys. We completed our module fully, and we can close down our session. And the thing is, we'll move on to the Q&A. And do you have any other questions other than that, guys? So please be submit the assignments as soon as possible so that you can able to download your e-certifications. Okay. And the other thing I wanted to like deliver here is there is going to be a webinar tomorrow, and the details will be shared in the WhatsApp group. And if you are interested, you can able to join over there. The webinar is about us, like we are going to conduct a master program, which is a paid one. So where you will be able to like learn deep into the cybersecurity field as to become a penetration tester. And yeah, you can able to get a value out of it. You will be having like multiple certifications from out of it. Okay, so just join the webinar to get even like a full information about those program which you are hosting or which we going to host. It is very short time here. We are having like in it is in like 10 or 15 days. We have like after that it will be hosted. Okay, so if you are interested, please join in the groups. Sorry, the join the webinar tomorrow. Okay, and thank you guys. Thank you for your time, valuable time. And you guys were supported throughout the sessions, throughout this course. Okay, and have a great day, guys, and all the best for your careers and your future. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.